Good evening. The Catholic Primate of All-Ireland, Cardinal Seán Brady, has defended his role in the Church's handling of child sex abuse allegations against the paedophile priest Father Brendan Smith. There have been calls for Dr. Brady to step down after he confirmed he was present in 1975 when two young victims of Brendan Smith were asked to sign an oath of secrecy. Today, the Cardinal said he would not be resigning.
In County Armagh this afternoon, a visibly shaken Cardinal Seán Brady rejected claims that he failed to act on child sex abuse allegations 35 years ago. He was then asked why he had not contacted the relevant statutory authorities in relation to Father Brendan Smith.
Even today, the appropriate person to do that is the designated person. I was not that person. But I insist again, I did act and acted effectively in that inquiry to produce the grounds for removing Father Smith from ministry, and specifically it was underlined that he was not to hear confessions, and that was very important.
How would that stop children being abused?
Because he was out of contact but the responsibility for his behaviour as a priest rests at all times with his religious superior in Kilnacrot.
Father Brendan Smith was one of the country's most notorious child abusers. Over a 40-year period, he's believed to have abused at least 20 children. Delays in processing his extradition warrant from Northern Ireland led to the collapse of the Fianna Fáil Labour government in 1994. In 1975, the then Father Seán Brady, in his capacity as secretary to the Bishop of Kilmore, investigated the complaints of two teenage victims of Father Smith. In a statement last night, the Cardinal spokesman said the complainants signed undertakings on oath to respect the confidentiality of the information-gathering process. As instructed and as a matter of urgency, Father Brady passed both reports to Bishop McKiernan for his immediate action. Survivors of clerical sex abuse say the Cardinal must resign.
I think Cardinal Brady believes this is a resigning issue for Cardinal Brady. In December of 2009, he made it very clear that if any failure on his part had led to a child being abused, he believes that he would have to resign.
If I found myself in the situation where I was aware that my failure to act had allowed or meant that other children were abused, well, then I think I would resign.
Remember, they carried out the investigation. They interviewed the child victims of this priestly rapist. Seán Brady determined in his own mind that these children were telling the truth, and he then simply passed the information up the line and did nothing. And for another 18 years, as Seán Brady rose through the ranks in the Catholic Church hierarchy, Brendan Smith continued to rape and abuse children.
But Cardinal Brady again defended his role in the matter and said he would not be stepping down.
There was no cover-up. I believe those people. I brought what I heard to the bishop, who proceeded to act. I don't consider this to be a resigning matter. I've thought about this. I've also thought about the work that has gone into child safeguarding over these years, and frankly I don't believe that this is a resigning matter.
This latest revelation comes at the end of another damaging week for the Catholic Church. Mary Calpin, RTE News, Dublin.
Now our religious and social affairs correspondent Joe Little joins me now. Joe, the main criticism of Cardinal Brady is that he didn't contact the Gardaí when he knew about Brendan Smith. That seems to be the most important issue now in all of this.
It does indeed, Eileen. I think that the whole issue was pointed up very graphically by his colleague Bishop John Kirby of Clonfert when, on his return with the other bishops from meeting the Pope last month, he said that there was a problem in that the secrecy introduced by the Catholic Church for very good reason a long time ago in how it conducted its own business had now come to cause havoc in the Church when it came to looking after victims of child sexual abuse or dealing with complaints of child sexual abuse. And I think that this is a key issue which the Cardinal and Pope Benedict are going to have to tackle before the papal letter to the Irish Church is issued, and that papal letter has been delayed somewhat. Because the issue is this: if the Catholic Church at the very top says that inquiries must be conducted in absolute secrecy about complaints of child abuse, can the same Church say that all allegations of abuse ought to be reported to the police and the health authorities in countries throughout the world? So this is the central issue that this controversy is pointing up, and it's an issue, as I say, which Bishop John Kirby has pointed up himself.
Joe, has there been any other reaction tonight, either from inside or outside the church?
Yes, we've had reaction from outside the church. Andrew Madden, who was abused by Father Ivan Payne, has said that the Taoiseach should step in and remove Cardinal Brady from any involvement in state-funded schools and hospitals because of what Mr. Madden says was the Cardinal's covering up of allegations of child clerical sexual abuse from the Gardaí and from the health authorities. We also know that there are going to be increasing demands for the Cardinal to explain fully, for instance, why, as our reporter Emer Lowe there put it to him in the package, she said, how could stopping this man from hearing confessions protect children? And he said in response, as you heard there, that Father Smith's order was entirely responsible for his behaviour as a priest. So there seems to have been a rather cosmetic exercise carried out by the Bishop of Kilmore and his team at the time of these inquiries in 1975, to say the least. If the situation remained that Father Brendan Smith's Norbertine order, based in Kilnacrot, was entirely responsible for the priest's behaviour from then on, I think the bishops, in a sense, could be said to have washed their hands of Father Smith and left it to his order to look after protecting children from him. This wasn't done in all instances, obviously. In one case, we know Father Smith turned up in Boston, registered, got a licence to become a priest, but the Boston authorities obviously made their inquiries with the Irish bishops, and he was disqualified within 2 days. So while the Bishop of Kilmore did take steps that were to a degree successful, and Cardinal Brady helped him in doing that, there were still huge gaps left in policing Father Brendan Smith in the Catholic Church.
Joe Little, thank you. And you can see more of that Emer Lowe interview with Cardinal Brady on our website, www.rte.ie/news.